How are you doing today, Terry?
Hey, I am just doing ducky.
What?
That's an old phrase. Ducky is mean good.
What?
I'm just ducky.
I
That's a
like it.
phrase that I mean, you know, goes back a few centuries or to the last century. How's that? Goes back to the last century.
There's, I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking. Now, I'm gonna tell you that I'm not
Peachy.
gonna
There's you
absorb.
calling me saying peachy.
I'm peachy keen. It's the bee's knees. How you doing,
Hmm.
Colleen? Oh, she said it, peachy. It's the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to
Hmm.
get this over to the Telegram group that we're live. But there was a song. I'm not going to absorb this for myself, but there was a song. I'm going to just go ahead and say it's called Every Time I Turn Around, Back in Love Again, right? But it says, every time I move, I lose. When I look, I'm in. And every time I turn around, I'm back in love again. I get mixed emotions. It's the way my feelings flow. Excuse me, I'm only human. Sometimes I just don't know. Every time I move, I lose. When I look again, I could try to sing it, y'all, but it'd be horrible. When I look again, he's like, every time I turn around, I'm back in love again. Right back,
Who-
right back.
Okay,
I,
I know that song. Who sang it?
who is it? It's called I don't know. It's LTD.
Okay.
Something to love. LTD. Let me
Okay.
see. Because you can't play anything or else, somebody will sue you. Anyway, let me just show it on the screen. And then I'll try to get us back. It's every time I turn around, I'm back in. But the part that was standing out to me this morning that was playing in my head was every time I move, I lose. Now, I don't
Mm.
feel like I'm losing, but it
No.
seems like every word I say, every Facebook post, everything I do, there's someone in my face trying to just barking like some lunatic pit bull. Somehow, like it could be the simplest subject, even Vaseline, but
Yeah.
it's like my mom was saying too. She went to go do her laundry yesterday, and one of her neighbors came in because it's like a shared older person community, and the person said, "Those aren't your clothes. Those are so and so's clothes." And she was like, and then the lady challenged her and said, "You don't wear dungarees." Oh my God, dungarees. And she was like, "Yes, the fuck I do." So like my mom's like 74. Like good God, is she like 77? Good God, she's pretty old. Anyway, she literally got into it with this
Excuse
lady.
me.
But she's literally like getting into it with this lady about this is my fucking laundry. And like, what? This is my laundry, right? And so, like, the smallest things, like, even if I'm telling the truth, like, I looked it up. I was like, so the man was upset about the Vaseline. And I said, well, let's check out. I said, I don't disagree with you because he was saying about the toxic properties. I don't disagree with you. I said, but let's look it up on the Yucca Act and see what it says, since I know that there's this side and that side. And I was talking about how, I know back in the day, people put it on because it was a barrier between bugs and mosquitoes. So I look it up. So then another lady says, don't be ignorant. Don't believe everything people say. So now you're calling me ignorant. And then so I look it up on the Yucca app and I look at what it says. And then another lady's attacking me for using the Yucca app. The Yucca app sucks. I used something on the Yucca app and I was allergic. And I was like, well, it made me think of there's another woman I know too that everything that you think is good for you, it doesn't work for her. It makes her break out, and she has celiac disease. So I mentioned that, and she said, I have celiac disease. And I was thinking, well, that explains it, right? My friend who does everything healthy, if she does anything healthy, it so maybe the Euchre app isn't the problem. Maybe you need to get a micronutrition study. Well, Euchre apps, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, you're arguing about Vaseline and the Yucca app, and this isn't my laundry. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I told my mom, I said, people who took those little special vitamin shots, uh, maybe that's what it is. Because my mom detoxed from hers, but I threw that out there. Could be the graphene is fucking with you. I don't know. Hey, Christopher, I miss you. What party is going on here? It is, I don't know. It must be the bitching and talking shit party. But anyway, because I'm just like, I was talking to Issa and I was like, she did this ultimate thing where, I'm bringing in aspects of myself. And I was like, there's aspects of myself that refuse to be disrespected by people. I'm not going to get ugly and curse them out and call them names or shake my neck around. But like really having to stand in the space and be like, no, you're not going to disrespect me. No, you're not going to talk trash to me. And gosh, someone was saying the other, oh man. And that's so funny because here I was agreeing with the person. I was agreeing with another person about what they actually said. Let me find it. They said something, I actually agreed with them. Then they turned around and basically cussed me out. And I was like, damn, I was agreeing with you, bro. Like, it just it's a really interesting time. It's really interesting time. Yeah, everything doesn't apply for anybody, and use your discernment. But I feel like this time to just kind of let shit ride and let people show you how berserk they are. But maybe because I make a comment or say something that allows people to expose themselves for who they fucking really are. You know what I mean? Like you're feeling like maybe you should be quiet, but I don't know. I personally don't feel like all the excitement. I really don't feel like having all that excitement. My heart feels sensitive. My heart feels like in this space where I don't want to fight. He says they are projecting their dissatisfaction onto people, thinking that externality is to blame. Most people are the most ignorant about what goes on in their own bodies. Yeah. So that's why people rely heavily on doctors when doctors prescribe meds that don't work just to pinch money out of people. I can totally see that. I can totally see that. And I don't know, Terri. I didn't even look at the cards that Terri has sent me, but this is just what was on my mind, and this is kind of how we flow to usually do things, right? We just have these random conversations and we see what the cards say, what they
and it's funny because I think what we each one of us needs to do is step back and just like look at our own lives instead of like projecting on other people. I mean, other people and whatever the situations are, it's a reflection on us. And so it's interesting that how this conversation evolved, because the first card that I picked for today was Starry Night, which is acceptance. And so part of it is we have to just accept what's happening for ourselves. And I think like the energies are so bizarre out there, and people are, whether it's because they've got that seat or whatever, but people are just weird. And I just know I don't interact too much online. Yeah, I'm from a different, I never was much into social media. So I do stuff, but I don't do that. But just the people around me, I just noticed family, friends, like, hey, people are just kind of really acting bizarrely. And I think part of that is acceptance of who we are, accepting where we are on our path, our spiritual evolution. And because this is, and we've heard this before, this is a spiritual war. And you know what? You can go and fight demons, but that's a distraction from the demons that are within you. And so we want to go. There's all these people who want to be the people who are fighting, and they're making a name, and it's that spiritual ego. But meanwhile, what's happening within them, they're projecting it to outside of themselves. And I think we need to look within and accept some of this stuff and start doing some clearing within ourselves, rather than trying to clear the demons that are in society. What's going on within you? Because we're, as above, so below. There's that whole reflection, like what's going on out there is also going on within us. And so where are we with that acceptance of this, and how are we going to make those changes within ourselves? Why attack somebody else because you didn't agree with the fact that Vaseline is not good for your face? Like, why would you start a war over something that's so silly, right?
Why do you care that much? That's just it. People, and here it is, the community. And people.
Can you? I gotta run. There's somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Good. Well, okay. So here it is, like the community, right? There's so many things to argue about, like which teacher is the right teacher, and which methodology is the right one. And, you got people who are angry about animal rights, and then some people are angry about children. And it's like, I think we've just found this way to attach to things, to give things, to maintain polarity. But to Matthew, you don't even know it. Like, I did a class yesterday not over the weekend, where I did a reading on a young lady, and it didn't come out maybe how she liked it or expected it, but I could see the frustration in her as well. And so it's interesting that you had that card about gratitude, because even during the reading afterwards, I thanked her for not liking my reading. Mm-hmm. And because you want to have all your readings be the best reading and get all the kudos. But I was like, it's actually okay if she does disagree. It's okay it's okay for me to know what I know, and for you to know what you know, and for us to actually disagree. But the levels though that people are reaching to attach to these ideas that they find important to them, yet in the scheme of things, we know that we're a spirit having a human experience. I often think, like Wreck-It Ralph, after the video game is over, we leave the video game. These things don't really matter as much as we would like. Like, it's almost, like you're a social justice warrior and you spend your time virtue signaling, but for what? It's all like being flushed. This experience is going to get flushed down the drain, that on the other side of this experience, we're learning that your self-importance is not the most important. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but it's these little things, whether you fight for the cats and fight for the dogs. I know there's service to self and service to others, but then there's this thing where you're understanding and learning that the part that's most important is controlling and mastering these things that are inside you, not mastering the things that everyone else is doing, not policing everybody, not bossing everybody around, not talking shit to everybody, not trying to fight with everybody. But the most important thing is this personal level of development where you learn to detach from money. It doesn't mean that you don't manifest, but if you lose it or win it, it's how you play the game, right?
Right.
You're to the point where you can manifest and you can lose it all and not commit suicide, This is, oh, you've mastered it. So you're like, money comes and money goes. Okay, I know how to manifest if I need to, and I know how to be without. You have to learn how to be in both places. I know how to love someone, and then I know how to be content when I'm alone. This is important lessons for us. Not that we don't seek love, but we know how to maintain ourselves even when we don't have it, this external thing for someone else to give to us. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you had anything else. Did you want to just go through those cards or?
Well, yeah, I'm going to just interject here. One of the things I've been working on is my personal fears that
Oh
are,
yeah.
but those fears that are the fears that are within the subconscious. And our subconscious fears, we have our little space, but we're part of we are, there is entanglement. So the fears that run through society, we are attached to them. And the other day I did a meditation with a group of my friends, and we were talking about fears, and so we did a meditation, and it was like one of the ladies reflected, and she said, well, I have my fears, but she said, I realized that there's a whole big cell of fears that have come from our ancestors and from society. And she said, my little interjection of the fear is part of a much bigger one. And so one of the things I think we have to recognize, and maybe that's coming from that acceptance card, is that yes, there are things, but what really is it about me, and how do I overcome some of these challenges that I'm going to face? And blaming it on someone else or attacking someone else is not solving it's not solving the issue for myself. And so if I go through the other cards, so then there's the gratitude card. And when we're looking at our lives, these challenges that we have, we should be grateful for them, because it gives us a chance to reflect on it and see where this is in that field of challenges. Like, okay, so I had a challenge with something today, and so I've looked at releasing it and letting it go. Well, now I'm grateful for that challenge, because it's awakened me to more about myself. And instead of hiding behind walls and behind excuses and behind society did this or that person did that to me, it's taking that responsibility for seeing how it's affected you, and be grateful that it's helped you to evolve to the next point. And we realize too that family, with the wolf spirit, families around us, and that means the people that care about us, not only our family in the sense of physical family, but we have ancestral family, we have our soul group, we have our friends that we've connected for. Like they say, you choose your friends, you can't always choose the family. But family is a bigger story than just our physical siblings, parents, cousins, whatever. We have friends that we choose to interact with, that we choose to support us when we are in a situation that may be challenging. And we also have spiritual guidance, from our spiritual guides and our soul group. So I think we have to sometimes take that time and reflect and see what kind of guidance we do have from other sources. So that's what I have to say.
From other sources. I definitely did a temperature check on myself, because that one particular message I got where it was like, what the fuck? I was like, now let me see. Was there any other way for me to respond to this? Like, am I being offended? Because, maybe, but I'm not, I don't know. I'm funny about that. When people curse at me, because I'm not that close to you. Like, we didn't sleep together last night. I didn't say goodbye to you yesterday. We didn't kiss and hug yesterday. So when somebody like gets really flamboyant with me with their language, I'm like, Okay, I think I was okay with. I observed this properly. It wasn't like he was like, "What the fuck," you know. It was so no, it was no real other way for me to interpret that, right? So then, okay, but I was reasonable. I answered the question, and then I was like, okay, let me, young man, who are you talking to? I'm a grown ass woman
Mhm.
and I'm a human being, so I have the right to put my foot down and say, hey, don't talk to me any kind of way. Actually, because I started off before the Cosmic Mama, I was the first Lady Erica, and that was for a reason. That was for me to say I would have to respect myself and I command others to respect me because people only treat you the way you allow them to. So if you take shit off of people, yeah, they're gonna keep dishing it to you. So you have to be this person that puts that out, that face forward that says, I respect myself and I respect others, and I do not allow people to disrespect me. And yeah,
Mhm.
Sarah, you're right, because that's a part of learning to be fearless. Because I cannot be afraid that now that you've insulted me or disrespected me, that I'm going to be afraid to hurt your feelings because I'm going to welcome you moving on out of my space. If you cannot follow these rules, I'm not going to tolerate inconsistent, irrational behavior because I'm trying to master my vessel. And that's a part of me mastering my vessel is how I allow myself to treat me and how I allow the what goes on around me to affect me. So I
Mhm.
have to put the hands up. And sometimes we got to put a foot down. And then other times we might have to put a foot in someone's back. It just depends. You got to, use the right tool, right? You can't use a hammer for everything. Sometimes you need a screwdriver, sometimes you need a wrench. So,
Exactly.
get
And
inside.
sometimes
Wow.
and sometimes you can use the wrench as a hammer.
Yeah, 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 or a good old fashioned belt. But yeah, you're right. Because some people need a spanking. Some people need
Yeah.
a spanking. They need a spiritual spanking. So that's all I really had to say today. Because I'm like, damn. But I'm gonna look at this and examine it because this weekend a part of the classes about self love we're really talking about what are the identities that you have or the labels that you have, and you can see them one way. You can see them in the negative way, but then
Mhm.
what's the power behind it? So evidently, I got a new superpower. My superpower is no matter what, if I hit the truth button on somebody, that's going to trigger them little demons to appear. So
Mhm. Yepers.
count that as a superpower now,
That's
and
a
not so
superpower.
because
And
I've been
it's
just
funny,
like,
those superpowers that we have, sometimes we have, been hiding them, but I think they're ready to surface now.
mm,
And so, as they surface, we become triggers for people.
yeah,
And like those triggers. Hmm, oh, okay, hold on a second. You know, we're in a third dimension. We're in the third dimension, and we talking about moving to that fourth dimension or the fifth dimension. But one of the things we have to realize is that between the dimensions is this void, and there's all kinds of beings that are in there, and those beings are going to, they're kind of neutral, but they're attracted to certain things, and if we want them to be positive, then they'll take on a positive form, and if we want them to be negative, they'll become those demonic things. And we invite them in to us, and so they're going to magnify things for us. And so we have to start to realize that, what are you inviting into your fields? Who are you inviting into your fields? And all these people who want to channel all these entities, who are you channeling? Maybe you need to connect with yourself and your soul, instead of trying to connect outside into these other dimensional stuff that we don't know, we're not experienced with. And so because we invite them in, when we have a weak field or whatever, we just like, they're going to attach to us, and then we're going to project their thought forms out. So,
Yeah. I like what Matthew said. Sometimes we the windshield and sometimes we the bug. And it's true
mhm,
because we can be the bad guy in our own story. We
yeah.
can be the bad, sometimes you're gonna take turns being the bad guy. And that's where we have to start looking for perspective on what am I tripping? You gotta check yourself. You gotta check yourself because sometimes you're the one that's tripping. Maybe you heard it wrong. Maybe you read it wrong. Maybe you took it wrong. Maybe you are just wrong. But sometimes you're gonna be the bad guy, but you have to be able to be willing to check for that.
Mm.
Check for that. Are you, you know, they say relying on your own understanding. I had to talk to my own son about that the other day. Sometimes you can't rely on your own understanding. Sometimes you have to take a step back, like you said, and just really check yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the message for today.
Happy birthday, John.
You guess you're 35. Maybe you're 35,000. Hey, Katie. Yeah. And definitely tapping into the source and finding
Mhm.
out where do the voices all come from. And it was a really great class this weekend with Magical Michelle. I always have fun. So I had a great weekend. You talked about your class, but we're going to take a whole separate day to talk about your class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I've been working on it and getting all kinds of information
Nikki,
and stuff. Yeah. Hey,
Nikki, you got to
Nikki.
watch the truth. I don't know. Did you want to pull any more cards, Terry, or are we done?
You know what? I'm going to pull one card. I'm going to pull one more card, and I'm going to pull one from the numerology deck. And this one is just sort of just see where we're going to, um, where the energies are, what we should focus on as a collective, but as for ourselves. I think this is okay. 78, which is spiritual career. I'm just going to read this.
Wow.
So
Oh,
this card indicates an opportunity to embark upon a career in the mind, body, spirit arena. This could be a full or part-time venture. It's entirely up to you. You may already have the credentials to begin this work now, or you may require further study before you're ready to start. Whatever your situation, this card is confirmation that you have genuine talents and abilities that need to be put to good use. You may decide to work as a clairvoyant, life coach, homeopath, or healer and see clients from your home, or try your hand at being a card reader, numerologist, or astrologer at your local mind, body, spirit fair. You may choose to be a writer of inspirational books or blogs, or conduct workshops in the community. Regardless of what you do and however big or small the scheme, you can turn it into a career with the potential for success. And um, so if we look at it from a different perspective, is that maybe it's time to really take stock of what you have, the talents that you have, your abilities to connect with your intuition, with aspects of those parts of your being that you may have denied. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to uh, put yourself out there for others, but maybe you need to put yourself out there for yourself. And maybe that's where the acceptance and gratitude comes in, and just know that you have your family around you. So I know that Sarah wanted to pull a card for her. I don't know how we want to do that. If we want to do it live, or we
you
want to.
can if you want. It's your first time, but normally hey, glad man, everybody coming outside.
Yeah.
Um, our favorite galactic star chart reader got Monique over here, the galactic star chart reader. If you need a galactic star chart, a galactic astrology, she does that. We got Colleen. Colleen is here. Christopher is here. Um,
Gladys. Hi, Gladys.
Gladys, Kiki. Oh wow. It was like all of a sudden Matthew is here. Crystal. I never saw Crystal before. Well, maybe no, I didn't see Crystal before. Nikki. Um, Nikki is the moderator. But yeah, it's so good to see you. John Ross and his birthday. I love that. I love to be able to put that on the screen for y'all too. That if it's something special for you and Peggy, we've been seeing you, Peggy.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm gonna pull a couple of cards for you then, and see what the message is for Sarah. So I don't know, Sarah, what's going on with your life. I'm pulling from the Sacred Forest deck from Denise Lynn. So the first card that I got for you was Chaos. So I'm going to suggest that probably at this point in your life, you've got a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of chaotic stuff. It's all about you allowing you're being faced with in the tarot you might say a tower moment, but it's something big that's happening that's causing a lot of chaos in your life, and you just have to allow it to just settle where it does. And the next card is being in the flow. I'm just going to go through all these and then I'll give you and being in the flow. And the next one is patience, foggy bog. So it's like there's some kind of chaos, upheaval that may be occurring in your life right now. And the guidance is just saying that just to allow yourself to be in that flow, ride the wave of the storm. It's not, it's going to, it's going to change for you. You just need a little bit of patience. But right now you're kind of in the middle of this. And so it's just like, there's not something that you have to do other than being a little bit patient with it, riding that flow. And you're going to see that once that all clears, there's going to be a clarity, and you're going to find a sense of your what the reason was behind all of this. But I feel that there's something that's just needing to clear out. You're on the verge of reaching that peak of the mountain, but right now there's just a lot of stuff going on, and you're almost at that peak, and you're going to see there's a clarity, and that the next part of your path is going to be a lot easier for you. Things are going to fall into place, and it's just like, oh, this is what I had, this is my soul's plan. But right now there's just a lot of stuff that's happening around you that you really don't have control over, but it needs to be cleared. So I'm not sure whether that makes any sense to you or not, but that's what I'm getting.
Oh, I meant to put this on. And oh man, I just lost it. Mike Powell. Thank you for hanging out with us, Mike. Yeah. Yeah, we've caught you too, because I recognize your beard. I love a good beard. So true. So yeah, I wanted to put that up there
Yeah.
too, that to Sarah, like Brandy, Monique in here. If you all see her, she does galactic star charts. Um, please type that information in the chat, Brandy. And then Terry here, she does Akashic journeys, so you can do the past life and get your own Akashic records. So it's like she's assisting you to get your own Akashic records instead of someone doing it for you. You're doing it.
That's
And
right. Yeah.
so she also does axotonal alignments. So.
So Sarah, I don't know if that's helped you any or not, but I hope that like just hang in there, because it is clearing, and just a little bit more patience, and things are going to, but it's just on the horizon there. I'm going to pick one more card from you from the deck here. Okay, synchronicity. That's what's going to come. So you're going to find that, once these things clear, that the people, that everything is on the path that you need to be on. There'll be those synchronicities that are going to arise, and you may
Hold on
even
a
see
second.
some synchronicities coming up when you least expect it.
Was there a macabre on any of the other cards?
Yeah, they're all Merkabas.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
numerology deck, and they're all the pictures are. Yeah, they're all Merkabas.
Oh,
You're
she
welcome.
said, thank you. I needed to hear that. Yes, it's so amazing. And thank you so much. So, for everyone else, we
Yep.
are going back to the chamber, to the Women of the Stars group
Mm-hmm.
chat to do our weekly readings inside the group. Ah,
And you
it's
all
up there.
have a
Yeah.
beautiful week.
All right, we're going to get flued out real quick. Don't
Yeah.
forget, about to
And we'll
get
see you
flued
on the
out.
other side.
All right.